were first domesticated around 3500 BC. It is believed that man first tamed horses in the steppes of Russia and Kazakhstan. They were introduced to the Near East around 2000 BC, where they were ridden as well as used to pull wheeled vehicles such as chariots and carts. Once the horses became domesticated, it changed the dynamic of the world. People were able to travel further distances and carry more supplies due to the strength and endurance of the horse. Wars also changed, as soldiers were able to drive chariots and ride horses into the battle, making them a force to be reckoned with.
The wheel was invented in the 14th century BC in Lower Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, where the Sumerian people inserted rotating axles into solid discs of wood. It was only in 2000 BC that the discs began to be hollowed out to make a lighter wheel. This innovation led to major advances in two main areas. First, transport. The wheel began to be used on carts and battle chariots. Second, and more importantly, it contributed to the mechanization of agriculture, the animal traction, crop irrigation, and craft industries. For example, the centrifugal force of the wheel is the basic mechanism in windmills.
And fun fact, in 1605, the first Hackney coaches came into use. These were four-wheeled coaches drawn by two horses that could accommodate 6 people and were used for hire to transport people about the city. Blaise Pascal, a French philosopher, invented the first public transit system in Paris in 1662. His system made use of horse-drawn buses that followed a set schedule, along published routes and charges standardized fare based on distance traveled.
In 1769, the very first self-propelled road vehicle was a military tractor, invented by French engineer and mechanic Nicolas Joseph Cognot. And fun fact, Cognot used a steam engine to power his vehicle, built under his instruction at the Paris Arsenal by mechanic Berger. Around 1839, Kirkpatrick Macmillan completed his new machine. He was widely credited as the modern inventor of pedal-driven bicycle. The first pedal bicycle was propelled by horizontal reciprocating movement of the rider's feet on the pedals.
The world's first locomotive-hauled railway journey took place on February 21, 1804, when Richard Trevithick unnamed steam locomotive hauled a train along the tramway of the Penydarren Iron Fork in Merthyr Tydfil, Wales. George Stephenson and his son, Robert, built the first practical steam locomotive. Stephenson built his traveling engine in 1814, which was used to haul coal at the Killingworth mine. In 1862, Etienne Lenoir built the first automobile with an internal combustion engine. He had adapted his engine to run on liquid fuel, with his vehicle made a 6-mile or 10-kilometer trip that required 2 to 3 hours. In 1885, Gottlieb Daimler and Wilhelm Maybach invented the Daimler Reitwagen, riding car or Ames-4 single track, a motor vehicle. It is widely recognized as the first motorcycle.
In 1885, German mechanical engineer Karl Benz designed and built the world's first practical automobile to be powered by the internal combustion engine. On December 1, 1913, Henry Ford installed the first moving assembly line for the mass production of an entire automobile. His innovation reduced the time it took to build a car from more than 12 hours to 1 hour and 33 minutes.
And fun fact, drinking and driving first became outlawed in 1910 in the state of New York City. California was the next state to legislate drinking and driving, and they passed a law specifically making driving under the influence of alcohol illegal.
The first high-speed rail system, the Hokkaido Shinkansen, began operation in Japan in 1964 and was widely known as the bullet train.
And did you know that in 1965, President Lyndon Johnson signed the U.S. Motor Vehicle Safety Act into law? It mandated seat belts, energy-absorbing steering columns, and dashboard.
And another fun fact, Shanghai Maglev train is the first commercial high-speed maglev line in the world. Its construction began in March 2001 and public service commenced on January 1, 2004.